Good afternoon, and welcome to the expansion of consciousness. I'm your host, Jason Metlock, and today we will have a very, very special guest. And she's been on the show a number of times, but when you get that phone call from someone that you really, really trust, love, respect, and just have a great relationship with. And when that person calls, it could be your mom, it could be your dad, your cousin, that uncle or that aunt who's always giving you this great advice, or this manager you met at one of your jobs who has been inspirational to you. But when that person calls and has something to say, you always listen. And this guest has something to say, and I'll always listen because the message is coming from source. It's coming from our creator, the higher self, God, Buddha, however you want to describe this person in your context in which you base your religion or you base your belief system. It's an exciting time when we can receive messages from entities like planets. We all understand that planets have souls. Planets are alive, but to what extent is our understanding of what is alive and what is not? But today we have Chloe Love, also known and refers to herself as me. And you may be wondering, what does me actually stand for? Me is selfless. Me is basically being within yourself and identifying as just me. There's a book called Be Here Now that talks about the death of the human ego. And when you walk along this path to crush or to minimize the human ego, the more and more you begin to become selfless within yourself, the less and less you self-identify with who you are. Oh, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm this. And you become more of just a person who provides information and provides a service. And whatever that may be, not taken away from your ability or your skill, but whatever that may be, it becomes a non-title for you. So today we will be visiting with Chloe Love, also known as me, to talk about the messages of Earth. This session will be channeled in from the beautiful center of the universe, which is love. So I'm going to go ahead and bring Chloe on, and here she is right here. How are you today, Chloe?
Good. Thank you so much for the warm and loving welcome. I hope that all is well with you.
Absolutely. And the soul of the earth has a message to share with the inhabitants here. And I just find that so amazing. When we've done previous challenge sessions, you've always allowed yourself to be this instrument, this avatar that source uses to speak these prophetic messages to the audience, to the masses. And you often understand when it's time for you to speak and when it's time for you to deliver the message. Can you tell us how that process works? And when you know that, okay, it's time for me to deliver this message or deliver this theme for the inhabitants of this planet, when do you know this actually happens, and what's that process like?
This question, it's like almost like a page in a way, like how doctors have a page and then it beeps or it goes
Yeah.
off and then they know to go back to work to help out with people in need. It's similar to that in a way. It's this feeling that's very strong and it's urgent, and it can happen at any time. It can happen when I'm asleep and then I'll just wake up from whatever dream that I was visiting, and it can happen when I'm walking, reading, cooking, anything. Um, and so it's very strong, it's abrupt, and it's present. Also to clarify, I currently am living for 2 months, so I'm not when I'm preparing things in the kitchen to consume. But anyways, it's this strong feeling of internalization. And it's just this message that I hear the voice, but it's not necessarily like the voice in my head. It's not like the inner dialogue. It's more of this urgent, and we need you. And it's not a voice that I can identify with being like a person or not a person. It feels very vague, but very direct as well. So I hear that, and then I have this feeling of urgency. So then I pause whatever I'm doing. I go into my heart space in meditation, or I go into the astral realm immediately, and I connect. I receive the message, and I take action from there. And the message is received as visuals, feelings, and words, with also just frequency, sounds, similar to music, but really, really vibrant and beautiful, and you feel all of it. So that's a little description of the process.
Wow. So, Chloe, the soul of the earth speaks of an overarching presence of love over fear and
Yes.
beauty over sorrow. How do you interpret this balance in the context of the current global challenges that we're facing right now?
So a lot of times people say you have to reach a low point in order to reach a high point. In a way, I feel that that's what we're facing currently, that we're reaching this really low point, and this low point is coming to a point where you just wake up from it. It's like waking up from a dream where you've lived your whole life in a depression without realizing it. And then in one moment, you're just aware that that's all it was. There was a depression, that wasn't your true self, that wasn't your true life, that you were living under this illusion that was fed by fear, that was aggravating the pain. And that's happening on a big scale amongst many humans, as well as other species here. It's not just a human dilemma at this point. Fear has been feeding pain for quite some time now. So it's reaching this really strong point, this really low point. And then from there, we're basically breaking free of it. We're recognizing who we are. We're embracing love. And through that love, fear is transformed and is no longer feeding that pain. And then we recognize who we are to a greater extent. And as soon as we realize who we are, we feel empowered with love. And others wake up from their illusions as well. And it's just this beautiful butterfly chain reaction of awakening, remembrance, and connecting with love. And when you connect with love, you're unable to cause harm to others, as in like in a really violent or hurtful way. You're aware of others, including of the body of earth. And so, and this is the way that they've been sharing with me in meditation, these ideas and revelations. But I do feel that it's best when I just channel directly to share this information instead of interpreting it with my own mind. I always
And you mentioned,
channeling.
yeah, and just in the last time we spoke about love and the power of creation, you mentioned that every individual has the power to transform themselves and the world back to a state of pure love. Could you maybe share some practical steps or daily practices to help a person embark on this type of transformative journey?
Yes, so this will be shared in the channeling that we're going to be doing today on this call. I got the information that the Soul of Earth will share this information on how it can be applied to an individual. So I'm going to leave that to the channeling itself to answer instead of improvising in my own words. But in essence, it's surrendering to love. It's releasing yourself into this embrace, into this being, this consciousness, this energy of love. And as you do this, you let go, you remember, you awaken, and everything else aligns. So in essence, it's surrendering to love. Love is the answer, surrender is the key. And they just intertwine really beautifully. And surrendering is not giving up or giving in. Instead, it's just merging. It's just letting go. It's releasing tension and releasing the aspects of ego that are not of benefit, and just letting go truly and letting yourself be in true loving essence instead of in illusions of self.
You know, we all go through different stages of our life, of our walk. Practitioners, healers, channelers, you know, there are just different stages that we go through, and different messages and different journeys that we all take. What stage are you at? I mean, you've done so much. I mean, you are a unconditional love expert, you know, Reiki master, you know, channeler, galactic energy healer, author. What stage are you at this point? I know I've left out a few more things, pranic healer, but what stage are you at this point? And where do you see yourself going in the next step of your life?
Be overly analytical, and I don't really focus on titles. If anything, if I had to identify what I do, which I don't honestly do that often, but if I have to identify it, I would say the one who remembers. I would say the one who remembers, or the one who heals, and then everything else is just an extension of that. Even that, I don't necessarily like to use titles just because I feel that they always have an association with someone. Sometimes that can be with ego, sometimes that can just be with another person that they've heard have that similar title that they use, for instance, because there's a lot of people who identify as Reiki masters who practice this beautiful art form. But each individual is very themselves in a way, and they have their own struggles. So using one universal term in a way can be very beautiful, very connective, but another way I feel that it's not direct enough to the essence of that individual. In terms of what stage I'm at, I would say that I'm at the stage where fear is no longer crippling me. And what I mean by this is that fear cripples people in ways that they don't even consciously realize. So fear is the root. So think of love being the essence, the truth, and then fear being the root of pain and suffering. So fear is illusionary, and it influences people greatly on a daily basis, and it feeds them. So it feeds grief, loneliness, anger, depression, all these things. And yes, you might not be experiencing it as pure fear, like you're being scared. Being scared is an aspect of raw fear, but there's many different expressions of fear and things that can be triggered by fear. Being self-conscious comes from fear. And so always trying to figure out, the root of what is causing something that's imbalance is important. But I would say at this point, I've reached the awareness of what is fear and what is love within me, and releasing those fears as they come, if they do come, and recognizing when there is an outside source causing this. And instead of taking it personally and believing in this fear, just recognizing it as how it is an illusion that also can help me with growth and learning and life lessons, but then releasing it as it comes. So I'd say from there, it's just really coming back to your fully true embodied essence. And I feel that that's the stage that I have reached in a way. And yes, I'm still going through some pains. I still have experienced trauma in my life, and I still feel the effects of those, but not nearly as much as I used to. And so it's just transcending just a little bit left of that and being in the awareness of that as it comes, and then fully embodying self and releasing ego. And so it's a journey, and it's not something that I like to put a specific time or date on. It's flowing, but I'm dedicated to it. When you are dedicated to all that you can be and all that you are, then everything else just parts for you to fully embrace your mission and path.
And I'm so glad that you spoke about fear, because that's at the root of a number of individuals. Fear really damages and or hinders people in a lot of different ways. But to hear someone who has worked on themselves as much as you have to say, hey, there's still a few things that are there, still a few areas of trauma, but I'm still working. That makes it that much real for the person who's starting their journey, and and to know that this is an ongoing process, and we have to understand that we have to continue to work on ourselves. Nothing is ever just totally fixed. So I'm glad that you said that. So okay, now if you're ready, let's move into the message. The real reason why we're here, ladies and gentlemen, is because me has a message to deliver from the Earth consciousness. And if you're ready to go, let's go ahead and get this thing started so that we can intake what it is that we should know here.
Wonderful. Yes. So I will connect and channel the soul of Earth. And before we begin, I just wish the audience to know that there's always a way to reach a state of perfect, loving harmony. Right now, it is challenging on Earth. And that's because of everything that has happened here, and because of the collective pain and suffering, and because of the virus of fear. But despite that, this is not the natural state of Earth. This is not how Earth began, and this is also not how Earth will end. And so to recognize that, and recognize that we can reach a state where truly everyone is living in love. I actually wrote a story for children and also for all ages that's called Living in Love. And it's a journey to this embodied harmonious self. And so this is completely possible. I just want people to know this. So yes, like I still experience some pain here and there, but it is nothing like what I used to experience. Truly, I used to feel like I was suffering constantly, especially picking up the suffering of others intuitively through meditation, through telepathy, through empathy. But at this point, like, yes, it is still present, but is not going to be present forever. And I just want people to know that the pain that they feel does not have to last forever at all. And the collective pain on Earth is not meant to be here forever either. We're just in a really challenging point, and we're healing from an illness on a, global scale. And so I just really want people to be aware of that and to have hope as well. And I've seen visions of the future, and it's just beautiful. It's really beautiful. I've seen all the different possibilities, and all of them are beautiful. So I just want people to really recognize this. But I'll get into the channeling of the soul of Earth. And I also just want to mention, so I haven't published it yet to the public, but I wrote a book recently called Within. And this is a journey fully to embody self and to basically merge into their 5D version of self and inner Earth. So it's a spiritual journey, and it's something that I'll be sharing more with the public soon, but that's just, I felt called to share that. So I'll connect with the soul of Earth now and enjoy. And thank you so much, Jason.
Thank you.
It is wonderful to be here. It is wonderful to embrace the joys and loves of being. It is important for people to know that despite the pain and despite the suffering here, there is more love than there is fear. There is more love than there will ever be pain. And to recognize this and embrace this and release one's fears and doubts is of utmost importance. You are safe to be and embody yourself. You're safe to embrace all the loving aspects of being. Being the soul of Earth, there has been much pain, there has been suffering, and yes, I've been inflicted with this suffering, but at the same time, it has just been little holes in a vast sea of love, just little holes of darkness, little holes of challenge. On a whole scale, on a vast scale, there's been more love than there is pain. So I feel more love than there is pain, and I have hope for the future. So I wish for you to have hope as well. In essence, it's important to recognize that everything that is happening within you is also happening without you. What we mean by this is not the definitions of emptiness. Without, we do not mean emptiness. Without, we mean on the outside. Within, inside. Without, outside. And the outside is a reflection of within, the within and reflection of the outside, but they're intertwined greatly. So the more you heal, you recognize, and you follow your heart, when you follow your intuition, when you don't give in to laziness, greed, fear, any of these things, when you follow your true essence, you embody source, but you embody the aspect of source that is just pure love. In essence, source is love, but also there's the illusion of fear that is mistaken with source continuously. So you follow the true aspect, the real aspect, which is love. It's important to recognize this. In terms of steps on how to fully connect and embrace the love which is already you, you must ground yourself, connect with nature, hug trees, no longer be afraid of how people perceive you, how people may think of you. It is irrelevant. It is entirely irrelevant because in truth, you are supported, you are loved, you are guided, and it does not matter at all how others perceive you because they're stuck in illusion. Why would you take an illusion seriously? Maybe you don't know it's an illusion yet. Recognize the difference between fear and love. As soon as you recognize this, the illusion lifts. The rainbow comes out, the stars shine, the sun is bright, and you remember your essence, you remember loving truth. So don't be afraid to seem different. In reality, you are the same as all of Earth. In reality, you are love. Hug trees, frolic, go for runs, smell flowers, take life slowly. Do not worry about not being on the time of others. Do not be in a hurry or a rush, or you will miss what is essential and what is important. Other people's deadlines, their schedules, their illusions, the falsehoods in the matrix that they have created, that they have sustained and believed in, is not true love. You must connect to the essence of real true love, which is already you. It's not something you need to attain. It's not something that you need to fetch from the outside. It is within and without as one. All as one. And so it's just connecting to little joys. Learn from children. Be inspired by them because they have not conformed in the way that adults have. They have not tried to be a robot in any way. They have not tried to silence their emotions or keep themselves contained. They have freed themselves. So follow their example of freedom and embrace this love, embrace this freedom. Whenever you feel fear or hesitation or doubt or guilt or any of these things, go within your heart. Your heart is your center. Your head is not your center. Most people, they live currently in their head as if the head is the center, but the heart is the center. So the same way that you can live in your head, focus your attention here, bring your attention and focus within your heart and live from here. Live an experience from here and tell yourself of the truth, which is as simple as I am love, I embody love, and I release all that is not the true essence of living love. To recognize that everything around you is alive or is deformed. When we mean deformed, plastics, things that have been altered in a very cruel way are deformed and their DNA has become fractured. Anything else, though, including rocks, including things that are natural but people perceive to be inanimate, is alive, not breathing in the same sense that humans are, but breathing nonetheless, still experiencing life to a greater degree and still has DNA. Yes, rocks, crystals, these beings have DNA. It's just expressed differently than it is for humans. It's just experienced differently as well, but they're still conscious, they're still aware. So recognizing this, sending your energy, building relationships with the natural world is important, and not taking more than what is necessary. Receive what is given, give what you can. Keep this harmony, keep this balance, and harmony shall be restored on a large scale of all of Earth, and to recognize that the debates, the illusions, are just illusions. Do not focus on that. Do not focus on the news. Do not focus on the awful predictions because they're all false. It's all based upon the low vibrational world that they're used to living in, but that world is illusionary. It's not real in essence. Everything can shift in an instant. Harmony can be achieved on an instant. The negative technologies will be transformed in an instant. As soon as there is DNA repair, including in things that have been really altered and really disconnected, like plastics, once there is DNA repair, then naturally returns to a natural state of being, even instantaneously. The illusion that time takes a certain amount of time is just an illusion, because time is just an illusion. In essence, time can be skipped. Time can go multidimensionally. It does not have to go in a straight linear line. That's looking at time from a 2D perspective. In essence, time is not 2D. It is only 2D when you believe it to be 2D. And even then, it's just looking at 1/10 of the reality of what it really is. So connecting with yourself, nurturing the earth, again, receiving what is given. Do not take what is not, for that can be considered stealing. It is not created solely for you if you have to steal for it. This is important to recognize. To release the illusions, to get over the addictions. A lot of the humans are currently addicted to certain foods, to chemicals, to entertainment, to technologies, to fear, very addicted to fear. And you have to be able to bypass this. If you do not bypass this, you will be stuck in illusion. If you're stuck in illusion, you will feel miserable. You will be going through depression throughout your whole life without even recognizing what it is and where it comes from. This is because you cannot live your life in a false way. You have to follow your heart and trust that your heart's mission and purpose will always be supported with divine, caring, and true love. We, soul of earth, all spirit guides, all higher selves, all beings of loving essence shall support you in your mission of following your heart, following and embracing and experiencing and embodying true love. Recognizing love is not fear and love is not attachment. Attachment's rooted in fear and love is true. Recognizing this is of essence and of the utmost importance. In addition to this, be kind. Do not litter, do not throw out, do not waste. Do not take the lives of innocent beings just to pretend to nourish your body. Recognize that death will never nourish you. Your body is a garden, not a graveyard. Do not treat it as such. If you do not want to feel death, do not engage and consume death. There's a way of balance. Fruit is given lovingly from plants, from trees, from various beings of earth, given fruit. This is a gift. This is not abuse. And release illusions and fears. Recognize that negative essences, negative beings that instill the virus of fear want people to believe false information, and your beliefs are very impactful. What you believe changes, affects your reality. If you believe so strongly you're going to get sick every year at a specific time, you shall continue to get sick. Your beliefs influence your reality. If you suddenly believe you're no longer going to get sick at all, you're fully healthy, you're fully embodied, you're embracing love, and you feel this love, not just believing through thoughts, but feeling the feelings of this intention, you shall not get ill. It is as simple as that. Fear feeds illness. Love feeds harmony, and you are naturally harmonious. When you fully heal and restructure the DNA within to be of loving essence, this is reflected all around you, and this has the impact to be able to shift everything else. So to recognize this, and do not think that you're insignificant. You are source incarnated. You are not separated. You are full of love. You are full of joy. Everything embodied is one. You are the love within. You are the love without. You are the love everywhere. So recognize this. It is simple. Inspire yourself daily and stop doing what your heart knows is not true for you and not true for others. And do not defend yourself with your ego. You are not defending your true essence. You're defending fear. And you are not fear. Release defensiveness. Come back to yourself. The ego is not you. You are pure, loving essence expressed through source, by source, as source. You have the ability to reconnect with your power. No one has the ability to take it away from you unless you believe they can and give it up willingly. So come back. Do not get drained by pain fueled by fear. Remember that fear is not just the feeling of being scared. It's much more than that. So come back, release the illusions of words, come back to yourself and feel. As you feel, you release. As you feel, you love. As you feel, you harmonize. This is our message.
Awesome. And I'm holding my breath, just listening to the beautiful message that was shared. You know, the concept of the world as a reflection of the individuals sort of suggests a deep interconnectedness. How does this perspective
For a moment, Jason has disappeared. And so I will connect and share a message in the meantime. It's falsehoods that come with the illusion of separation. And just love.
Yeah.
It's also really a benefit. This is ME talking, Chloe Live, but I'm not channeling at the moment. But anyways, it is also really of benefit to ground yourself, to take off your shoes, to really connect with the natural shape of your feet, the natural energy that flows between you and the entire body of Earth, recognizing that the body that you're currently living in is an aspect of the body of Earth. As one of her children, in a way, as just another part. For instance, you can think of a toe to be part of a body.
Yeah.
I just shared a little message as you were
Yeah.
disappearing.
You know, we know that sometimes, you know, our connections aren't the best, but we do our very best to get things back right. But I was talking about the concept of the world, and you know how it reflects the individuality, and how it suggests that there's this deep connection between the avatars, the souls, and this particular world. You know, in your perspective, how does this perspective help shift our approach to societal and environmental issues that we're facing around the globe?
So mostly just to be kind, honestly, recognizing that you are not separate, that all is interconnected. Think of it in a way to be a big family. Everyone shares DNA, everyone shares blood, but also there's love shared in a true, genuine family instead of like a broken family. So to recognize that a lot of people have been living on Earth as if they are in a broken family where they do not rely on nature, they also are not sharing gratitude, love, and appreciation, and are stealing from nature, which is their family in essence. And so to recognize this releases the illusion of separation. It's important to be kind to yourself, and yourself is extended through everything and everyone. And so to recognize that when there's really painful and challenging people, they were deprived of love at some point and they've become influenced or even like overtaken by the virus of fear. And to recognize that more of that fear and aggression is not going to heal them and make them a so-called better person, or to wake them up to the truth of everything. And so to connect with love, the more that you feel and embody love, the more that this is shared with others naturally. And the more that this is shared with others, this awakens the love within them, and then they come back to themselves. In essence, a lot of environmental issues are caused, unfortunately, by some things I don't necessarily like to talk about too much on a video public setting, but it is influenced by so-called negative people technologies, people who want to cause fear in people and to cause chaos, as well as to potentially steal land. And so it's important to recognize some of this is created in a so-called natural setting, and then others is created in a non-natural setting at all, and is influenced with lab-made chemicals and really dangerous substances. What is natural, as in from Mother Earth, from Earth, and not influenced? This is typically created for a purpose. It's not just happening. So let's say that there is a so-called fully natural hurricane that arises. This hurricane can come from different reasons. It may come because there's been a lack of gratitude, a lack of love, and just a lot of selfishness, a lot of abuse happening to the earth in that area, and it needs a reset. And there's a disharmony. When there's disharmony, there can be a lot of effects of that. And so it's important to recognize when we are kind, loving, gentle, present, and not taking what is not given, when we only receive what is given and we give what we can share as well through love, then there's harmony in a natural sense.
In your work, how do you address the skepticism that may arise when you discuss transformation of the world through individual change? Some people don't really grasp that concept. And you
Yes.
speak of individual change and love and how these things can be transformed into this world. How do you deal with skepticism from that?
So in all honesty, I haven't received it directly that much. I definitely have, though, a couple of times at least. And whenever that's happened, I've just shared an abundance of love with them and gratitude with them, and just shown examples of truly harmonious places that have thrived. And also just sending the energy of pure love to them, and just having the knowing that this love will naturally bloom, blossom, and expand their being. Maybe not today, but it will happen. And so I just trust in this, and I focus on sharing the love within instead of giving into their illusion and their fears and their doubts. So I just redirect.
The soul of the earth's message is ultimately one of hope and empowerment. And how can this be effectively communicated to diverse audiences, that may have different belief systems or different worldviews?
Art. And that's something that's universal regardless of belief. And so, regardless of belief, religion, perspective, anything, we all have a heart, and you can always feel and center with that heart. And your heart knows the truth. Your heart knows the loving essence of you. And so when you go into your heart, you can feel what's real. You can feel what's illusionary. You can feel what inspires you and uplifts you. And you can feel what causes you pain, and what fuels fear, and what fuels doubt. And so going beyond the ideas of, I guess, the specifics of everything, and focusing more on feeling and connecting with just this inner knowing, this love within you that's shared within all beings, I feel is very universal. Just connecting to love. Love is within everyone and everywhere. And your heart knows when you're experiencing fear and when you're experiencing love. And since everyone has a heart, everyone has the ability to access this. But I'd say not to get too caught up on words specifically. I used to definitely get caught up in words, and if someone wasn't speaking in the way that I would speak myself, it'd be harder for me to really identify or to trust in what they were saying. So I will say that that has greatly improved, at least from my own experiences with meditation and with focusing on their essence, their intentions, and their energy. Like, what are they sharing in essence, instead of how is it coming off or how is it coming across, and really getting to the root. And I find that through that, you can really feel where someone's coming from. And if they're coming from a place of love, that is something that I trust in. And if they're coming from a place of fear, then I send healing.
The power of love, the energy of love, the frequency of love. I was taught this, or should I say, this was shared with me a while ago by you. And you would say that move love in the center of your heart and vibrate with the frequency of love, or all the modalities that we're working in, Jason, to help you express yourself. You'll have a hard time without the frequency of love. Can you share any personal experiences where aligning with love, with the power of love, maybe led to a significant transformation, either in your life or in the life of those you've worked with?
Yes. So there's been a lot of different instances with those that I've worked with. It's just experiencing transformation in their life where they were stuck in a severe dilemma, typically caused by inner fears and doubts, and it was really impacting their life, whether it was through abundance and self-care and the basic so-called necessities, or whether it's through inner expression and releasing this inner expression on the outside. And so just seeing people, as well as other species, dogs and cats I've worked with, and other animals too, come out of their so-called, I guess, fear-based shells and traumas and remember who they are and feel energy again, feel alive, is just really beautiful. In terms of myself, I would say that a really significant moment, and the reason why I'm not sharing too much on sessions is just for kind of privacy reasons. Sometimes I do share more details of sessions, but it really depends on the context. But in terms of my own personal journey, I used to go through a really, really deep depression when I was like a young teen. And then when I discovered higher selves, I would say remembered more than discovered, but when I remembered the truth about higher selves, about who I am in this life, about all the guides that we have, all the support we have, and the reality of everything instead of just the illusion, it really just helped me to release that illusion and release that trauma and that depression, and to have motivation and inspiration to create something that is loving change, something beautiful. And instead of looking at things from such a dagger and such a dark perspective, and just looking at things of, wow, there's so much pain and so much suffering. This is awful. This will never be accomplished. No matter how hard I try, I'll make change here and there, but that'll be it. I got out of that mindset immediately once I started to really meditate with my higher self, once I started to see visions of the future, once I started to really remember. And that was just really beautiful and really inspiring. So I'd say that the moments that have been the most incredible have been those moments of loving inspiration, where it's like that dark veil of depression and trauma has lifted and they remember why they're here. Remembering also that like depression and trauma really drains you. And when you're really drained, it can be easier to be influenced by fear and doubts and illusions. And so when you no longer have that depression and trauma weighing you down, you just feel light and you just remember the essence of life is love, and it's everywhere. And you really experience that, and you have faith again. You have trust, you have hope.
Can you can you share with the audience how they can get in contact with you? And we're experiencing a new year. Some people call it January a new year. Others may say the spring is a new year. So there's a new year of excitement and things that are going on and things that you'll be doing. Can you share with the audience any new things that you have coming up? And also, how can they contact you? And I know you still give sessions. You still work with people individually.
Yes. So I do channelings of higher self, spirit guides, as well as I do interspecies communication. I do writing projects, personalized high vibrational channeled meal plans, and just a bunch of other things, past life regression sessions, and Seraphim DNA awakening. So my website is magentasunhealing.com. So magenta sun, sun like the sun in the sky, healing.com, magenta the color, sun like the sun in the sky, healing.com. And there you can access a contact page that you can reach out to me directly. My email is there. You can book a session either by contacting me or through the website, or you can ask any questions. Everything I offer is sliding scale, so that everyone can receive a session regardless of financial details. And yeah, I just share an abundance of love truly. And I've been working on many projects recently. I do have a newsletter, and I haven't sent out anything out for a while, but soon a lot more will be coming. I also teach energy healing, channeling, interspecies communication, and much more, one-on-one and in groups. So I'd be happy to connect. And again, if there's any questions, I'm always here.
Well, thank you for coming on the expansion of consciousness. And I said this the last time, that you're welcome anytime you'd like. And you called and said, Jason, there's a message I have to get out. And I was quick to set a date, because a lot of people look to individuals such as yourself, and there are others out there, but the channels of getting these messages out are very important. And and I know that we don't want to look at numbers, and we just want to deliver our messages. But fans, folks, followers, when you look on YouTube, some of the highest viewed shows are with this young lady right here, this beautiful spirit right here. People tune in. I think one of the shows has 12,000+ views, but again, I don't want to glorify the number of people, but the message is resoundingly effective, and it's reaching the masses. So I thank you. And I'm going to say it again, is if there's any time that a message needs to be released to the public, to the inhabitants of this planet, you're more than welcome to come back. And I appreciate you.
Thank you so much. With an abundance of loving gratitude, I embrace you. And thank you for hosting this beautiful platform in order for people to share their voices and to inspire hearts and minds and souls and spirits. So thank you so much. I share so much love, and I look forward to being back. Thank you again.
Thank you. And you were there from the beginning. So that's what makes it even more special. You were there from the beginning of my development, and even the beginning of at first it was I'm woke, and then this expansion of consciousness. So the growth that you've shown with the clients that you've had. So people who are interested in booking booking a session with Chloe, there's lifetime growth with this beautiful being that we're talking with today. So I'm going to move you to the back. I'm going to finish this out. Don't go anywhere. I want to finish our conversation, but thank you. And you're just such a blessing to us all.
So much. Your growth has been beautiful to witness, to support, and to be present with. So thank you all for everything that you've shared with the world, everything that you embody, and all the growth that you've experienced. It's been wonderful to witness and to be here.
Absolutely. Okay, 1 second. So I wasn't just creating an ad for love, which is Chloe Love. I was speaking from the heart. I was speaking from my spiritual walk, from a person who I sought out to help me through this journey. And working with Love was absolutely wonderful. It was like I was guided in that direction. And the growth I experienced has been invaluable. My book, Empowered by Consciousness, was birthed from all of the teachings of Chloe Love. And And she mentioned working on book projects. She was one of the main influencers on my book and helped me finish it out. And you just have to, when you find a practitioner, or when you find a person you want to work with, can they help you grow throughout, the tough times? Can they also connect with you and help you see your life as it truly is? And that's my experience. And there are others who have worked with Chloe Love, in different capacities. But I encourage you to go to magentasunhealing.com and to experience a lot of the services that she offers. If you're going through anything, depression, anxiety, not connecting with God or Source or Buddha or whoever you express as your higher self, or as who you follow spiritually, religiously, whatever the case may be, you won't find a better person to sit down and to try to figure things out with. But this frequency of love, this show is about this frequency of love and how important it is in your everyday life. Whether you're a professional, you're a top business person, you're an athlete, you're a housewife, you're an entrepreneur, your average everyday person, if you don't have the frequency and the vibration of love in your heart, and as Chloe Love said, not up here, but in your heart, if you don't have this frequency of love in your heart, it is very difficult to get from ground zero and to move in whatever direction it is you want to change your life to. And I don't want to overtalk the topic. I know that this show has ended, but love is so crucial in defeating fear. And fear is a strong element that keeps us in the very same spot that we're trying to get out of. Thank you for logging on and listening to the Expansion of Consciousness. This means a whole lot to myself, and it means a whole lot to you, to be able to come here to experience, to learn, to cultivate yourself, to listen to all the different beings, the beautiful people that come on this show to give and offer information. And I hope that you're taking advantage of it. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Good night.